Hey everybody, hope you guys are doing well. So this past week I have been doing a lot of thinking. Probably not a good sign. I've been thinking a lot about fear. I guess because I have a lot of things to be afraid of right now. We are in such an uncertain season of life, and I don't think I'm alone. Everyone seems to be struggling with fear right now. Just scroll through social media or flip on the news. When will this quarantine end? When it does end, what's gonna happen? Will my parents still have a job? Are we gonna be all right? I think these are normal fears to have. The other day I was out on a bike ride by myself, just trying to get some time to think. And I just couldn't stop thinking about all of these fears. Sometimes when I ride my bike, I can get a little lost in my own head. So I'm thinking about all of these questions and these fears and possible futures. And honestly, I was kind of beginning to freak out a little bit. Just a lot of anxiety. And like, I'm technically an adult and a dad. I thought I wasn't supposed to be struggling with fear like this anymore. Then I started to feel pretty stupid because I literally, just like a couple weeks ago, did a club talk about finding my peace in Jesus, even in the midst of storms. But I'm like, we're in the middle of a storm now, and I don't feel very peaceful. Like, I don't feel very peaceful right now. I kind of feel like I'm freaking out a little bit. And honestly, I kind of feel like a hypocrite for feeling so fearful right now. A couple of weeks ago in my club talk, I told you the story of how Jesus calmed the storm. If you remember, the disciples were terrified. Their boat is taking water and they're maybe thinking about just jumping ship. They really think they're gonna die. Like, there's just no hope. But if you remember the story, Jesus calmly gets up and he actually speaks to the wind and the waves, and the storm obeyed his voice. He brought peace to all of the chaos. Then he turns and asks his disciples, "Where was your faith?" He asked this because he knew their faith was in their boat that was taking water. Their faith was in the wind and the waves and the things that they were currently experiencing and feeling. The fact that they thought they were gonna die, but they forgot the most important thing, that they were not alone. Jesus was on that boat with them, and he calmed the storm in his perfect timing, which wasn't right away. Have you guys ever heard that we are supposed to fear God? I grew up hearing that we are supposed to fear God, and I never really knew exactly what that meant. Like, was I actually supposed to be afraid of God? Like he was some kind of monster or something? I thought he was a God of love. I think fearing God is a choice. It's choosing to fear him and put your faith in him even when everything around you seems to be falling apart. It's choosing to fear him more than the storms that you are currently going through. It's choosing to trust that Jesus really is in control and he really is with you. You are not alone. It's having faith that God will speak peace to the storms I'm going through in his perfect timing. In Isaiah 41:10, God says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be afraid, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will hold you with my righteous right hand." I love that. He says, do not fear. Why? Because he is with me. He says, don't be afraid. Why? Because he is our God. Does anyone else ever have these kinds of bike rides, or maybe a night where you just can't sleep and you just get really afraid? Maybe for no reason at all, but maybe you actually have lots of really good reasons to be afraid. Maybe it just seems like there's nothing more than wind and waves all around you, and you feel like your boat is going down. Maybe you fear that you or someone you love is gonna get sick, maybe even die. Maybe your family's struggling with money during this season, so you're concerned about that. Maybe you're just missing your friends and wondering if this time is ever gonna end, and wondering if things will ever be back to being normal. Did you know that we've had a pretty significant increase in suicides since this pandemic started? This absolutely breaks my heart. And I know exactly what's happening. People are choosing to fear the storms of life and the things that they are currently going through more than they fear God. They're getting scared and jumping ship. I've been tempted to jump ship before. When I was a teenager, I almost did one night. until my mom and dad found me, and I was lovingly reminded of exactly what this verse in Isaiah 41:10 says, that I was not alone, that my God was with me. I didn't need to jump ship because Jesus had the power to calm the storms in my life the entire time. He was just wanting me to rely completely on him, to put my faith in him rather than the storm I was currently going through. Almost like he was asking me, where is your faith? And I think he's asking each of you that exact same question today. Where is your faith? Friends, there are so many reasons to fear, but regardless of how real these fears feel, the truth is, you don't have to be afraid. Why? Because you are not alone. The creator of the entire universe is our God, and he is with you. We have to make a choice to put our trust in Jesus. He's the one that will help us get through these tough times. We have to choose to fear God more than the storms we're currently going through. So here's my challenge for all of us today. Let's not live our lives crippled by fear. May we choose to fear God more. May we choose to trust in Jesus. Nothing else will bring you real peace in the middle of a storm like knowing that Jesus is on that boat with you. He loves you and he cares for you. You are not alone. Listen, friends, we're gonna make it through this season together, and I believe we will come out stronger. I encourage you to take this time to look to Jesus. He's in the midst of this storm with you. If you hear nothing else out of this entire club talk, please hear this. You are not alone. Love you guys. See you next time.